Okay, Vugar. So before you start, you good?
Yes, it
All
is.
right. So I want to say thank you very much because, as you guys know, Bitget this year it's one of the main sponsors of NapulETH. Thanks to them, we could make this happen. On Sunday, we have an amazing trip with the boat on Capri with party. But this kind of sponsorships allows NapulETH to continue to do this every year in order to give blockchain technologies and make events in the southern Italy and also in Europe. So thank you again, Vugar. Vugar he's gonna talk about Bitget growth strategy. So this is quite interesting because obviously Bitget is doing so well in Europe. So we are happy to hear how they managed to do this. And how do you keep a decentralized leadership? Security first design and bold execution are shaping the crypto adoption. Vugar will unpack that what it takes to build trust, scale infrastructure, and onboard the next billion users to the Web3. Vugar, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thanks again for everyone for being here. It's a great pleasure. It's a beautiful venue. I think it's the most beautiful venue of a crypto event I ever been, and it's truly impressive. And I know how it is tempting when you have a sea and drinks and all this in front of you coming to listen to a speech. And therefore, I will try to make it as fun, as interesting as possible. And one thing I will definitely not do is to tell you what Bitget is. I believe you guys already know or how we work or how you have to trade. But instead, I want to take you to in a journey where I'm sure for the people who've been in crypto more than 2-3 years, uh, narrative was always that Web3 is so cool. People will jump from Web2 to Web3. Banks will, all go bankrupt and we become the next banks. 3-4 years fast forward, we went to this kind of events. Again, we were talking, no, people didn't come from Web2 to Web3. It is us, our time to go to Web2 people, and everyone start talking how we are bridging Web2. And today I want to actually think to the crypto as a part of the big financial system and how macroeconomic situation and financial uncertainties are impacting our life. Of course, I'm sure yesterday you already checked the charts. Ethereum is getting around 3,500. Bitcoin is all-time high. And the question is it a blow on the top or we are still having an alt season? While all these questions, I will try to find an answer during this presentation, if it ever works. Any idea how it works? I guess it works. First, it's a very important chart because I come from an economic background. This is the first time we see that Bitcoin is doing something much different. We call it decoupling from the traditional markets. And why it is very important? Because all the time logic was that money comes to traditional markets, then people go towards the riskier assets, which is Bitcoin. And if they make more money, they take the profits out and then it spills over to the alt tokens and it goes till the end. And it is kind of a full cycle of the economic growth. And then we all go to bear market, we talk about when the bull season comes next, and it goes on and on and on. While all the time we were pitching Bitcoin as a great asset to invest because this is the way you can literally, by doing nothing genius, beat S&P 500, beat the London's real estate market, earn more money. While for commoners like us who are trying to earn more money, trying to leverage, this chart actually shows something very different for institutions and large players who come to the industry, because when you run $1 trillion fund or you are a private equity firm, your need is not about to make, I don't know, a 10-15% return on investment. Your goal is to hedge against. Basically, until today, if Bitcoin was something that would spill over from the traditional markets, today Bitcoin is a hedging opportunity for financial institutions, which makes this bull cycle much different than any other bull cycles before. And it also gives us a chance to understand that actually crypto in itself is becoming something much massive and household name. helping people to kind of build new products and do something much different, because at this point we are fighting or competing for the consumer attention together with the banks. If you look at these charts, we see that 59% of the financial institution clients, it's you, me, and everyone else. If you are having a bank or neobank or crypto exchange that gives some sort of a service, if you are not happy, you will be not sticking because of your loyalty. You will be able to change and go, and you will not even hesitate about this. Why it is important? It means if you don't build a good product, or if you are not competing enough on a fee side or any other place, people are ready to switch. It's a good news. It means as a crypto industry, we can build a product that people will switch from their bank to us. But also it's a bad news for us. It means people will be switching from us to the bank's back, especially if, or probably your neobank is offering also crypto assets and commodities and many, many others. While keeping an idea on these numbers, I want to take you to a very different portion. This is about the blockchain adoption. Recently, JP Morgan announced that they will be doing and offering the Bitcoin custody services and many other things to their clients, because not because they are, so innovative and good. Actually, JP Morgan was always against the banks and their traders touching Bitcoin. But today, because US passed the law, because almost all big banks are jumping into this because they want to compete with the crypto exchanges, eventually what happens, banks start offering the same services. While in crypto, we are very fast and very agile. It's a very big problem because today Bitget has 120 million users. It's the second largest crypto exchange. First largest crypto exchange is our friends from Binance. They have around 280 million customers. But thinking about Citibank and JP Morgan, these banks, they don't only bank people and companies, they bank countries, they bank nations. Now we are talking scale in a national level where JP Morgan operates, I don't know, in 100 countries, CT, HSBC in 100 countries. Now it is like 100 nations are getting an access immediately. And for them, offering crypto is just a service. While for us, it is a whole identity. Because for a bank, if you go open your new bank today, you can buy a stock, you can invest in gold and silver, you can invest in ETFs, and you can also buy crypto. At this point, is it kind of an interesting part and alarming part? Because the idea of Bitcoin and Satoshi's white paper was to cut out the institutions and make it peer-to-peer payment method where we kind of become free, we claim our freedom back and financial independence. But in the historic turn of events, today we are standing in a place where this is actually totally opposite. The institutions are coming and institutions are taking the share that they were meant to be cut from. We have kind of now two ways to go. First, we can definitely celebrate that it's great. It's perfect for adoption. It's perfect for a lot of institutional funds coming in. But also it is very, very bad because if we can't move fast enough and we can't onboard people fast enough, then we will be probably becoming a service and one of the services that a standard bank can offer. On the other end, we have a much added advantage because banks always are tied to central banks which are the officially government run organizations. They dictate banks what to do, and banks are always very conservative because they don't want to step on a sliding sand. While crypto heads, we are always here to fight. We want to do better. We want to build something good. But also, first time in history, crypto companies start becoming both working with the government because of legislation, but working with all the other financial providers in order to be agile and in order to be able to offer bank-like services. 3-4 years ago, when a journalist from Cointelegraph, I believe, asked me that where I see Bitget in next 3 years, I told we probably, as all other centralized exchanges, will become bank-like organization. But today, I changed that statement. I'm telling that today, banks are becoming crypto exchange-like organizations because they offer so many services. And this is kind of a 5 things I believe still crypto companies can do better and faster and cheaper than traditional banks. It is, of course, speed. Speed is very important because legacy systems are not as fast. Of course, no one stops banks from adopting blockchain technology and running all the transactions on chain. But until they do that, we are having an added value and advantage. We are fast and we are instantaneous. We are talking about split second confirmations when the payments come. Definitely fees. Banks run on the fees because when you think of a bank, you think of these huge buildings with many offices. Men and women like me who wear suits, they're boring. They come at 9 a.m. and they work in that place. And there's a huge running cost behind these large organizations. While crypto organizations are usually digital first and remote first, where our running cost is marginal compared to traditional banks. Therefore, banks need to charge you more. Being access, having 24/7 access is another great part because when everything is digital, you have much better advantage than driving and going to a physical office. But banks are keeping up here because I'm sure many of you use Revolut or any other neobank that is keeping up at this point. Banks are very notoriously known for these small hidden fonts here and there in your contract. You will not know their terms and conditions. When things run on chain, it's very hard to falsify. And last, but the most important out of it, and the building idea of Bitget is problem of unbanked people. While we are in European Union, this must not be an issue that someone thinks of first, because in European Union, probably you can order a bank card to be delivered at your doorsteps. While in many parts of the world, in Southeast Asia, in the India, for example, Africa mainly, even Latin America, it's a very hard and expensive process to have a bank account. And another funny part is that I remember after many years ago when I returned to UK, I wanted to reinstate my bank account, and bank asked me for 3 months rent or address proof, and I couldn't rent an apartment because I didn't have a bank account, and it became such a like a weird closed circle, and many people across the world face this issue. Banks are like having a bank account is a very hard process, while today at Bitget you can literally do KYC and the next day order a virtual card and eventually physical card and start using our exchange or our wallet the same way that any other bank product will work. But as I mentioned, this is the most important issue that took the idea of a Bitget, because when I was at Davos and I was listening that how many people are unbanked in the world, almost 60% of the world's population is unbanked and 70% of them are women. It means at this point, we are not only solving bank issue or banking issue, we are actually helping more and more people to come and participate in global economy. We are helping, I don't know, web designer from Cambodia to actually serve a client in US and get paid in crypto and so on. While, as I mentioned, we started with a great vision to solve world's most biggest financial challenge, today we stand strong as a #1 copy trading platform. We serve 120 million users. We move $20 billion every day. And from the start of the year, we almost moved around $1 trillion, which is a huge number. And we are becoming an organization that is truly helping people to live on chain. Our idea and our goal is to build a platform where you can earn, save, invest, and eventually spend on chain without a need to having your traditional bank. And in this journey, I want to take you through like a venture building experience and how we were able to build something as huge and what we were planning to do the next. Just a small introduction. As a CEO of Bitget, I took over the office 2.5 years ago. When I took over, the exchange had around 10, 11 million users. We were around top 20. And in 2.5 years, we managed to do 10x growth, both in our trading volume and both in our user numbers, which is 120 million today. And with our vision, we believe that in next 2.5, 3 years, we are able to do another 10x growth, which will help us to finally land on 1 billion users. And I believe if you've been to crypto, again, more than 2, 3 years, the billion number is the biggest kind of a benchmark for everyone. I believe almost all my colleagues, whether they're running an exchange, whether they're running a layer 1, if it is Ethereum, everyone talks about that billion users. And this is our strategy we believe should work to go there. First and foremost, since the FTX collapse, we tried to build a platform that is not only brilliant as a tool in itself, but we also wanted to become much more transparent than your traditional bank. If you ever try to withdraw a huge amount from your bank, I'm sure you had a big problem because first you have to call them in advance that they actually have the cash. It means whether you have millions in a bank or $20, probably bank doesn't hold that money in a physical form. Second important factor is that in many countries from Australia, I'm not sure about Italy, but from Australia to Middle East, if you try to withdraw anywhere more than $200 of your own money from the ATM, from your savings account or debit account, I'm not talking about credit cards, you will be charged 1% commission in order to actually cash out your own money. At an exchange, we are tackling the issue very differently. As I mentioned, because an FTX case and because we want to compete with banks on the transparency, we do proof of reserves. We are one of the most consistently proof of reserves publishing institutions in the world. Every second month, we publish our proof of reserve through the Merkle tree confirmation, showing that all your funds are safe within the exchange. And we pledge to have at least 120% more money. It means if today all 120 million of our users decide to come and take all their money out of the exchange, we have 30% more money left. For my trader friends, it means we always have a better liquidity than anywhere else. But for most of our users, it is the guarantee and safety that if tomorrow something happens, they will be able to take their money out. But of course, when I talk about like this, everyone goes back to Bybit hack and comes back with a question: what if you get hacked? What's gonna happen? Now we trust that you have the money, but someone steals it from you. I'm very proud to say that Bitget never actually faced any serious challenge in terms of security, not because we are a lucky bunch of people, because we have protocols in place. We work with the most advanced service providers like Samsap, who builds an AI to tackle AI fraud and deepfake fraud, helping us to remain safe and secure. But we have the industry's second largest protection fund consisting of 6,500 Bitcoins and some USDT and USDCs in 7 publicly available wallets that you can monitor anytime, which guarantees if something goes wrong, we will have almost around $1 billion if we take the today's Bitcoin rate. But we always promise that even if Bitcoin price crashes, this fund will remain at least at the $300 million level, making sure if something goes wrong, we can help our customers. And I didn't mention Bybit case for joke. Actually, when Bybit had happened, Bitget was the company that jumped in first and offered 40,000 Ethereum to help them to refund the customers. We lent them out that Ethereums that they returned back. Overall, now we have built this secure and transparent system. Our second goal in our growth journey was to build something truly remarkable and focus on what we are good at. Definitely, if you are building a portfolio, I will advise you to diversify your portfolio. But in business, we think of something which is diverse enough to tackle and balance the risks. But on the other end, we are very much laser focused on building something Web3. Therefore, all our investments are focused on Web3 than anything else. And when I talk about Web3, it comes to different products that we offer in terms of savings, different products that we build to serve our customers better. But we also heavily invest in our Bitget wallet, which is our decentralized offering, our AI tool. I believe most of you know we just launched a Get AI that will help you with the trading decisions. Also, Bitget Pay, that is our growth locomotive in next 3 years. But besides that, we own a lot of media businesses that amplify Web3 ecosystem, and we always focus to make sure that we invest to the ventures that bring impact to the Web3. Besides our core business, which is an exchange, Bitget actually owns an $100 million Empower X fund that does a lot of investment in infrastructure projects, making sure that we support the growth of our industry. Now we have built a kind of a roadmap. We are very transparent and secure. It goes an important factor, which is a product. Building a competitive product is very important. And if you go today to our exchange, I take a huge pride that we are the only exchange that doesn't offer light and pro version, because we believe if we want to become the next challenger for traditional finance, we have to remain as simple and as easy to use as possible. And this is the way we tackle it, by making sure our platform remains easy to use for everyone, whether you are the first-time crypto buyer or you are a seasoned trader. You have an ability to navigate and get best of the both worlds with that. Another key point how we want to compete with the banks and financial institutions is actually what your money does. Because today, I was a little bit surprised. I was spending my Bitget card and it is US denominated card, which means every time I do any transaction, I'm actually settled in US dollars. But now, because we are in Europe, I've been paying and buying some gelato, and I realized that actually today, dollar versus euro is 1.18 dollar cents per 1 euro. Dollar lost around 20% value towards the euro. Overall, if you take yen and many other big currencies, it lost 25% its value, meaning your $100 is actually 6 months ago is actually $75 today. And sometimes I say maybe the price hike of a Bitcoin is not because Bitcoin is expensive now, because dollar is cheap, because one Bitcoin is equaling to one Bitcoin. But the way we compete with the banks is that even in the best circumstances, your bank's annual return will be somewhere 3-4%. If you go to most riskiest currencies, you'll get around 10%. While at a crypto industry, we are still able to compete with most exchanges in among ourselves, but also traditional institutions when it comes to the return on investment, whether you are the first time buyer or whether you are the mining or farming these tokens, you'll be making much, much more money than in your traditional bank. Another key point I think will be is not only just how you trade, is not how to trade, but also what you trade with. We are the first exchange actually availing USDT M, like margin futures. And trading is our definitely bread and butter. But this is not the only thing we take proud of, because most of our users use more tools than doing the margin trading or futures trading. But if you want to trade, definitely Bitget is one of the places to go, because we are number 4 in terms of our market cap, and we offer the best liquidity. But we have noticed a new trend in last year and a half. Whenever people come to crypto, basically they want to dollar cost average Bitcoin, especially from the Western world like Italy. They want to scoop up the top 10 market cap tokens because they are less riskier. And eventually, most of people hold their money in USDTs. In case of something happens in the market, they want to jump on an opportunity. All these actions helped us to build something we call principal guaranteed feature, where you are able to invest your digital assets in a principal guaranteed account, meaning you don't trade at that point. And if you put 100 USDT, you get 100 USDT back. If you put 1 Bitcoin, you get 1 Bitcoin back. And if you get 10 Bitcoin, you get 10 Bitcoin back. But you also get something on top of it. Similar to the staking, you actually get farming tokens from other projects. This way you are able to explore new products and new projects and to explore new tokens without risking your initial amount. By introducing this, we were able almost double our user base who use earn products, because through the earn, they are not risking much, but they're still making the best use of the product. But again, as I mentioned, not only earning and investing is a core part. Actually, great part of the having a crypto exchange is this beautiful ecosystem where you can live without living on-chain life. You don't have to go to OTC. You don't have to take your money and turn it to government issued paper money. Instead, you can tap and work. My favorite product is Bitget Card. Instead of building our new, completely independent payment system, we partner with Visa and MasterCard to issue USDT denominated cards, which works as a regular debit card, but at this point you don't need to have a bank account, and you can directly spend your money from your crypto account, helping you to live on chain, but still use the ease of the industry. But we are, of course, smart people. We collect all this data. And the next slide, I will explain what we did something much, much bigger based on this data, proving our point that most people in crypto, they are not here just to trade and earn money, but everyone wants to live the freedom of the crypto and have this independence to be able to spend your money. But also the good part is that when you have a crypto card, it means you are able now to trade and to buy crypto tokens without commission, or the way that your banks will do, usually charge you another 20% on top of it for the service fees. All this can be cut when you have a crypto card. But before I take you to an idea of cards and payments, I want to introduce Bitget Wallet, especially for the DJs and people who love being on living decentralized life. It is our bread and butter. 3 years ago, in the middle of the bear market, when our colleagues were cutting their budgets, we were actually doing something crazy at that point. Today it's proved not to be as crazy. We went and invested $30 million to Bitkeep Wallet, a new decentralized offering. And in the next 3 years, we invested heavily in terms of the talent, innovation, and product to build a Bitget wallet. Bitget wallet today is world's most loved crypto wallet. We surpass both MetaMask and Trust Wallet in downloads. We serve around 80 million customers. We move around $12 billion, and with almost 500,000 projects listed, you get an access to trade virtually any token anywhere in the world in your fingertips. And when we look at the growth journey, actually, Bitget Wallet's growth journey was much faster and much bigger than Bitget Exchange, because Bitget Exchange took a lot of learning process, while Bitget Wallet was built by people who already knew the industry within the team. When we collected all this data, I want to take you back to that journey of the crypto cards through the exchange that you are able to tap and purchase. And today you have a Bitget wallet. Actually, Bitget wallet, even though it's a decentralized wallet, we do offer a MasterCard in US denomination on Bitget wallet too. And the good part is that because wallet is decentralized, it is KYC free. And as per the European law, because all the transactions below 3,000, they don't have to be declared, you are able to use your money and your freedom. It's not a financial or tax evasion advice, but definitely it is a great way to look how you can regain your independence back. In the beginning of my speech, I talked to you about how 2 years ago we only had 11 million users. Today we serve 120 million users, and we aim in next 2-3 years to onboard a billion user. This is where we land as a strategy. Now, through my presentation, I explained you how we had a vision, we built this transparent and secure product, how we are competing with the traditional institution, and how we are competing with other exchanges. And last, I explained how we introduced life on chain through the payments. We end up in this strategy that I believe will be core for our growth in next 3 years. Because finding a next billion people who wants to come and trade in crypto, probably near to impossible. But one thing is very much possible, and it is part of our life, the same way we wake up in the morning and, I don't know, brush our teeth, do our exercise, we have a need to eat and drink. And almost in every step of these necessary actions in daily life, the most necessary out of all is the payments. Almost half of the services we buy and consume are gone through the payments. You want a coffee, you buy it. You want to brush your teeth, you buy your toothbrush and toothpaste. You pay for your water, even if you drink the tap one. Eventually, anything in the world except breathing and walking kind of an tag to the payments. And with the data we collected through our crypto cards, actually shows clearly that payments is one place where we can onboard next billion users. And if you deep dive and look closely, actually every time we tap our card is a trade and is a transaction. The same way that today you go to your coffee shop and buy a coffee, you tap your card, eventually you pay anywhere between 1.5 to 3% commission, or merchant pays it, and it takes merchant 15 to 30 days to actually get that payment back. We decided why not to bring everyone to do these transactions on chain. With Bitget Pay as a merchant, you're able to instantly get paid, which solves your cash flow issue. You get, because of the commissions are very low, especially let's say if someone is paying USDT on BNB, commission is virtually zero. At this point, what you do, you as a merchant, you get rid of that 1.53% commission. Eventually, you're able to get paid in full amount instantly, helping your cash flow issue. This is a merchant side of the things that we can definitely solve. And on the user side, again, it is easier and faster because all you have to do is tap and go rather than any other action, rather than paying commission fees. If you, let's say, in parallel, if we compare that, you use Revolut and you decide to buy crypto on Revolut and sell crypto on Revolut, you'll be losing a lot on the margin on the process. And if you even decide to move them to your account, you'll be still paying commission. And while as a user you pay all these commissions, at the end, when you tap your Revolut card, merchant will pay 3% to process your payment and still wait 15 days for that money to come. It is a huge lag and huge gap that we can compete in solving in comparison to traditional bank and traditional institutions. With instant travels, instant transfers, all altcoins being supported, it means you don't have to eventually go and hold your money in USDT, but you can sell them or trade them in a very last second when you tap your card, which will become instantaneous. You will be able to do that trade or transfer without losing any money. And because it is free and it will remain low cost due to the technology, this is one important aspect that we can compete. In the big or grand scheme of the things, which makes us in a somewhere between being a card issuer, payment processor, and still your bank. For example, today your bank goes a card issuer to Visa or Master or Amex. Then also you have intermediaries that does this transaction, and eventually on a gateway you have your Stripes, e-monies that process this payment. While everything on chain actually cuts out these three middlemen, now still you have a middleman, which is Bitget Pay, but there's a single middleman rather than having so many middlemen putting commission and trying to earn on top of each other. As a strategy, I believe that Bitget Pay or any payment gateway is the only way we can onboard next billion user, and it is the one key aspect that will help actually onboarded users not need to know how crypto works or how blockchain as a technology works, but they will be using the technology because it is easy to use. The same way when Apple introduced Apple Pay, we all didn't think that we needed a contactless payment on our phone because our bankers already had one. But today, I rarely see someone carrying a physical card around. You just tap your phone and go. It is easier, safer, securer than any other thing. Therefore, as a user, we don't know how Apple Pay works, and we don't need to know how Bitget Pay works. As long as it solves our problem, it should remain viable and better. Not to brag or not to complain, I know that a lot of our competing exchanges, they are more focusing on existing crypto users only. I know that one of the largest exchanges told that they want to do their own pump fund kind of an environment. While at Bitget, our strategy been always different and is always different, that we want to solve world's problems, and our strategy is focusing on something long term rather than focusing on how we can help people make money quick. I believe that making money quick is a great way, but still it is not the only way that crypto should be perceived. And as someone who comes from media background, that was my all-time problem when people usually wanted to invest $100 and buy a Ferrari next morning, but usually it doesn't happen. Last key point and advantage as an exchange compared us to the bank is that we run our own native tokens. For example, as a bank, you are only able to charge your fees on US dollar if you are a European bank in euros, which tags you to the initial issue I mentioned, the devaluation, the inflation, and all the other aspects where you are dictated the rules by the central bank which is government. While as an exchange, we are lesser more self-run, whether we are a centralized organization or we run a decentralized product. And with our native token, we can eventually be very, very independent. We can introduce different burn mechanisms that we currently run. Every quarter, we burn the supply until we reach 100 million. We are able to earn different interest rates on our products, and we can also, the good part is that we can expand our treasury by building different mechanisms. Actually, in the beginning of this year, we had two tokens, Bitget Wallet and Bitget Exchange token, that we merged together. We bought back and burned almost $5 billion worth of tokens. We introduced new products to take away the sell pressure, which eventually helped us to reach our all-time high at $85 which made us one of the fastest growing crypto exchanges, crypto exchange tokens, and eventually helped us to become very much profitable. We did 100x since we first launched, and almost 96% of BGB holders as a wallets are in profit, making us almost close to compete with Bitcoin at this point. And at the end of my journey of this speech, I wanted to again to recap all these ideas that with the in the market we stand today, we are at a threshold understanding whether next edition of ETH or next edition of any big crypto event will be filled with the traditional bankers and finance pros, or it will be kept as native as we are. And if we are not able to innovate fast and build products fast and competitive enough, probably it will be the first option. Therefore, events like ETH is very important, and that's the reason as a Bitget we decided to support this event and many other events like this to bring together the builders and make sure that we build something that stands the test of the time, but also stands the pressure of large institutions coming together. Because let's not forget, the whole idea of the Bitcoin and Satoshi's white paper was to cut the middleman. And if we just keep adding middleman for the sake of institutions coming and because we love all institutional money and we talk about large adoption, let's not forget adoption is not only the part where people use the technology, but also it is who is benefiting from it. And if today JP Morgan runs all their internal transaction on their private chain, is it actually a true blockchain, or is it just a gimmick of being on chain, taking advantage of being fast and cheap and still charging your customer $30-40 per transaction because you can? Thank you very much. And if anyone has questions, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Was really